Okay, so it's day 3 of March, and that means it's our third day in our challenge this month. And we're focusing on macros all month long, helping all of our members and anyone who wants to join us for free in a full month worth of coaching through how to use macros to reach the goals that you're wanting to achieve in your life, whether it be weight loss or weight gain or healthy lifestyle, whatever it is. Macros become a very important part of that. There are lots of theories on macronutrients and how macros are used, but there's some really basic things that you need to understand about what macros do and why it's important to understand them. Now, a lot of people have questions about whether this is a diet that you need to follow. Is macros a diet? And it really isn't a diet plan. Macros are simply a tracking tool that we use to help guide you through long-term success in your healthy lifestyle. So today I'm going to cover why knowing these macros is so important and how to use those to reach the goals that you're after, regardless of what those goals might be. So that's what I hope to do here in this quick video. Now, what I want to focus on first, we've talked about what macros are, and I'm not really sure how much more we can say about what macros are. Macronutrients are proteins, fats, carbohydrates. Those are the macronutrients that your body needs to survive. Now, there are micronutrients, which are vitamins and other things that your body needs, but the macronutrients, the main things it needs, are protein, carbs, and fat. And it needs all three of those things, regardless of what someone might tell you, whether they're following a keto diet or following a Whole30 diet or following a low sugar diet, whatever it is, they might tell you you don't need one of those three macronutrients. And that is simply not true, not for a long-term healthy lifestyle. It can be true if you're doing something specific, very short term, especially under supervision through a dietitian like myself or a doctor. And the only time you need to ever venture into those diet programs that involve eliminating something like that, you really need to do it under supervision and not just look at the internet and hope that Google's telling you the right answer. So why are macronutrients so important? Well, it's because that's what the body needs to survive. They're not just important, they're like critical. Water and food are critical, and those are macronutrients that your body needs. And so I want to cover real quickly what each one of those macronutrients does so that you get a better understanding of why it's so important that you know all three of those and why that balance is so important. Now, the first one, and probably the most important one for most of us, not necessarily the most important of the three, but the most important for most of us, because we don't eat enough of this particular product, macronutrient, that would be protein. And what protein does in the body as a macronutrient is it rebuilds and restructures the muscles and fuels the lean mass of our body. Now, don't hear me incorrectly. Don't read that into meaning that if I eat more protein, then my muscles grow. You see, a lot of females and a lot of women I work with go, I don't want big muscles, so I'm not going to eat any protein. It's not like I eat protein and my muscles grow. Trust me, if that were true, I would be 3 times the size I am thickness-wise with muscle because I eat a lot of protein. What protein does do, however, is it rebuilds the muscle fibers that you break down through exercise and movement. So all day long that you're moving and burning muscle and burning calories and you're moving around, going grocery shopping and all of those things, you are damaging your muscles. That's why they're sore. If you go out and rake leaves one day and your back is sore and your arms are sore, it's because the muscle fibers were torn down and they're sore because they've built up lactic acid in them, and it needs protein to help rebuild those muscle fibers. So you need protein at a certain amount to make sure that you're rebuilding those fibers. Even if you're not working out, there's still a finite number that your body needs in order to maintain the muscle mass it has. Now, what happens if you don't eat enough protein? Now, this is the key that most people need to understand. Not eating enough protein means that the muscle says to the brain, hey, I'm not getting enough food. I need to make myself smaller so I don't burn as many calories. If Jason's not gonna feed me enough protein to maintain me, then I need to reduce my size so he doesn't starve me. Now, the reason that is very detrimental is because muscle is what burns calories. Muscle is what fuels is the way your body uses calories. And so if you don't have any muscle mass, if you start losing muscle mass and it gets smaller, then you burn even less calories. And now you need to eat less calories, and then your body needs less calories. And it's this downward spiral into starvation. And on an extreme level, I want you to picture yourself, if you don't know what this looks like, go to the internet and Google someone with chronic anorexia. Now, this is an extreme case of this, but what happens in those situations is that the body wastes away all of its muscle. So it's just a skeleton. It removes all the muscle fibers so that this person does not die. It is trying desperately not to die. So it reduces all of the muscle mass on the body to reduce the number of calories. If this person doesn't eat, their body just continues to get smaller and smaller and smaller, and that becomes unhealthy. Now, we're not going to talk about the mental aspect of anorexia, but the protein level is the reason we need to eat that, the reason we need to be conscious of that. So find out your protein number and eat that much protein. That's what your body needs. Now, the second number I want to cover is carbohydrates. Now, carbohydrates get a bad rap. If you don't know what a carbohydrate is, then listen closely. A carbohydrate is anything that has fiber or cellulose or sugar in it, okay? Those are what carbohydrates are, and that includes so many food items. But we've been brainwashed by the diet industry to think that carbohydrates is sugar or potatoes and rice. All we think of when we think carbohydrates is sugar and potatoes and rice, when carbohydrates are all fruits, all vegetables, all grains, all pastas, everything out there that is made with a vegetable or a non-animal product is a carbohydrate. And you need those things in the body for one major reason. Carbohydrates are your fuel. They're used as fuel. Now imagine this, you're driving down the road in your car and you look up and it's on, the little red light comes on and says, oh my gosh, you're almost out of fuel. What do? You get this little panic that you're out of fuel and you need to find the nearest gas station, correct? Well, the body does the same thing with us. It's just that we've been told we don't need carbohydrates because they make us fat, which is a lie. And you just drive right past 15 gas stations and don't put gas in the car. That's what you're doing, is just driving right past all the gas stations and never putting gas in your car. Now what happens? The car dies, strands you on the side of the road without any gas. Well, this is what you're doing to your body about 4 o'clock in the afternoon when you say, oh my gosh, I'm so tired, I need a cup of coffee. Well, see, you're just putting fuel back in the body. Unfortunately, what fuel you are putting in your body is a quick sugar. It's something your body needs immediately, and sugar is the reason that it's craving it, because sugar is taken into the bloodstream really quickly, and it gives you a really quick boost of energy, and that's what the body needs immediately. Now, that's probably the worst thing you can do because it sets off this big spike and valley in your blood sugar. Instead, you should have a real meal because you haven't fueled yourself properly along the way. So carbohydrates are fuel and you need them. So you got to eat carbohydrates. The last one is fats, and fats do not make us fat. In fact, none of the 3 macronutrients are inherently make us fat. Fat is actually very helpful in our body for 2 main reasons. It regulates our hormone levels, especially for you females. If you start cutting fats out of your diet, your body stops producing some hormones, or your hormones get out of balance. It also is very helpful for your immune system. Healthy fats are one of the best ways to get anti-inflammatories into the system. That's their job, and it helps our immune system stay stronger. So when you start cutting fats out of your diet, you're screwing up your hormones and you're screwing up your immune system. 2 things that we really need to be careful with. So fats are very important. Unfortunately, fats are very high in calories. So you have to know how much fat your body needs and how to calculate that fat so that you don't blow your calories out of proportion. That's the biggest problem with fats. They're very much higher in calories than the same amount of grams in carbohydrates and fats, and over twice as many calories in 1 gram of fat as there is in protein and carbs. So you just have to be careful with them. Now, knowing those balances is something we're going to talk about later, but today I wanted to get it very clear what proteins, fats, and carbohydrates are and exactly why you need them. So don't think you don't need one of them, or don't buy into the diet culture telling you don't need them. You need all 3 of them. And we're going to help you find the balance of that this month. So if you haven't gotten with your coach yet to work on those balance numbers, go ahead and make a phone call with him and get started. That's it for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow.